Should be enough. Dolls, Freedom Dad here. Welcome to my live. Hope you're all good. I'm tired, but good to go. Give us a sound check. See who comes in first. Big bass boom. Brilliant, mate. Thank you so much. Connor Skyline, good to see you. I'm good, mate. I'm good. Links, Window Man. Good to see you in early, Window Man. Wee bit bunkers, how ya? Fucking slowing up here. Thank you, sir. David Blur, all good. Gary Belfast, all right, mate. Minecraft Bills sounds sweet. Thank you. B. McWilliams, the force of with force be with you, Freedom Dad. Yeah, that's CJ's. So always gonna have a wee drink tonight. Changed my mind. Just not in the mood. Right to be right. Hello there, stranger. Banty 60, good evening. Eddie Martin. All good, mate. Yes, all good. Hit that like button on the way in, guys. Thank you, Gary. Hugh McWilliams. It's not, it's mine. Um it's not, it's mine. Freedom Dad, hello well. When's when's CG? We Nolan out. Oh, he's Freddie doing our jobs. Freddie. It's Freddie to send me a wee message here. Stephen Belfast going, Freedom Dad, thank you, mate. I'm not going to attempt that. Loved your speech at the Marina Court Banger. Cheers. That was a while ago. That was a while ago. Some turnout yesterday, my friend. Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Fred, good to see you in, mate. I was going to say, might need you to send me some stuff to my other number, or just send it to somebody and they'll get it to me. Good job, thank you, Sue. Foxy lad, all right, everyone. 61. Normally wait till 100 gets in, guys, you know what I mean? Before we start talking about stuff, hit the like button, guys, and that'll maybe send out notifications to other people, you know. But about 2 hours of footage a day. I have been working a day, believe it or not. Oh, Foxy lad, welcome to my world, mate. Welcome to my world, honestly. Like, um, what's been up with you, buddy? Is it work, personal? Send me a wee message. You got my number. Space Cadet, good evening. Good man, Pinky. Good man, good man. I did say 7:30, mate. You know what I mean? It's 25 to get. You know, I know you're busy, but yeah, you tell the truth, mate. Stick at it. I try my best without get myself arrested. I would encourage everyone to watch Europa, The Last Battle. It will change everything. Okay. If you want to stick a link up, you can stick a link up so guys can click on it. Or if we'll not ask the mods. I'll have a wee look at it. So well, then if it's good, I'll bring it on the platform. Evening, Ursula check 75. How you doing? Freddie saying hello to right to be right. That's true, mate. Doing our country proud. Thank you. Like I keep on saying, there's many men like me. All good, thanks. Cheers, Ursula check. Andy Collins, you definitely wouldn't be able to put it on the platform, mate. Can I not bring a wee bit to it and then like leave the link for you? Hello, Freedom Dad. We're at the MSC Art Festival yesterday. No lefties. Great day. Oh, I heard about that. Well done. Well done. I heard. Was that not the one that was they tried to shut down, Barry? I'm sure it was. And then Yeah, well done, guys. Fair play to yous. I would like to have went to that. You know what I mean? If it wasn't so much happening, you wouldn't believe what was going on yesterday. I could, I'd need a team of camera crews to be going everywhere to bring you the content that's going on in Belfast right now. But yeah, powerful footage yesterday. Thank you, mate. It was quite. You know, you needed to have been there. You needed to have been there. Yeah, that's the one. Right, bye. Nice one, mate. I'd like to go to that. Maybe put that in my diary for next year. God willing, was excellent footage, I must say. Thank you. I wasn't too happy with the footage, to be honest with you. At the end, it was a wee bit blurry. I don't think I think I've rubbed somebody's hair or something, and there's like I got a wee. Okay, it was just a wee bit smudged. It wasn't right. Gary Belfast, the Freedom Dad Roadshow. Oh, don't, no, don't. Yeah, the lefties are waking up. It's not that they're waking up. They realise they were standing on the wrong side, guys. It's more that, you know what I mean? It appears to me that it's building up nicely for 13th September in London. I believe Lucy Conley will be one of the speakers. Yeah, I imagine so. Sure, you're doing a great job, Freedom Dad. The true patriot for your people, both north and south. Thank you, Barry Walsh. Fred Jameson, I blame the cameraman for the day. It wasn't his. It wasn't Stevie's. Isn't that Stevie's job to be cameraman? Wade, even though Liam Tufts has just put up a podcast with Charlie Veets, I'll let you know. Iron Lady, I do too. You can't blame him. It wasn't his fault. Sent you a message earlier, Freedom Dot on WhatsApp. I know you're busy. Yeah, I had a wee hours kept this afternoon. Honestly, I'll tell you in a wee minute what's happened today. Like, there is content there. There is content there that I didn't have the mic on, so I'm jumping about, sticking the mic in people's faces. My cameraman was a wee bit back, and the mic wasn't working. You know what I mean? So some bits you can catch whenever the camera's next to me, so you can catch it. But 80%, a couple of interviews. You know what I mean? Really good interview, but I'm letting Richard put that out. I did offer it to Richard. It's a soldier, ex-soldier, ex-Navy guy who brought an Afghan interpreter back. You've probably heard about him on the news. A guy called Tim. So he was at this thing we were at today, and managed to ask him for an interview. He comes across as a really nice guy. Very complicated the interview, very very difficult, but really nice guy, very clever as well to an extent. As clever as he wants to be. Let's put it like that. He's too clever. Let me put it like that. Okay. So yeah, he was there. They had this 91 years in, guys. I'll let you know what happened. There was this like meeting in Bangor the day, and it was passed off as a peace meeting, you know. And so we went down and have a wee look to find out what was going on, to find out if it was like the left, you know what I mean? So I went down and people were coming in and sticking the mic in front of people. What he's here for? Here for peace. Here for peace. But a couple like going, I know you. Fucking see the anger in their faces. Like it was like, whoa, I know you. And I'm like, what are you here for? He's like, we're here to stop the kids from starving. I was like, right, okay. So rattled on, couple of interviews, couple of interactions, but that was it. They'd say one thing and then shut right down. All of them wouldn't some were being a wee bit smart with their answers and all that, and just getting wide, you know what I mean? But nothing. These were middle to upper class, leafy suburbs type, the ones that don't live in the working class areas, haven't got a clue what's going on in mainland and all the rest of it. And yeah, so it was like trying to find out, like I was saying to Tim in the interview, I just want to get an interview with Tim. And like I say, I did say to Richard, "Do you want to have this interview?" Because I thought Richard, being an ex-soldier, this guy, two military men, I thought, I'll stand back here. And Richard's like, "No, no, no, freedom, Dad, you get it." So I was like, right in the bar, I was a wee bit nervous, you know what I mean, because I was warned about him. I was warned he's fucking really difficult to interview. So I was like, in the deep end, you know what I mean? Why not? So he's came back out, and I've got him. You know what I mean? I've got like my bit of the end. I've got all the interview. You know what I mean? I will bring it out, but I want Richard to bring it out first. So I'm like building up to my questions, going in gentle as you do, you know what I mean? and he was going on about peace and harmony and all that, and wouldn't everybody want that? And I'm like, yes, everybody would like. I would like that. And so he's like, so you're on the same page? And I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Yes, everybody. Nobody wants to see anybody being unalived or hurt or anything like that. Of course not. It's a human instinct, you know. All right, there's some crackpots out there, but the general. That was the, that you can imagine the drift. That was the where he was going with it, just trying to drive to peace. This big thing about peace was it was undercover. You know what I mean? I'm telling you now. You know what I mean? And so and then I was getting to the bit where he was talking about like they're not one sided, and I was like, listen, I've been getting a couple of wee interviews of these people that you're talking about, and like they know me and I know them, and they're Palestinian supporters because he was saying, oh, you're trying to bring it to the Palestine. It's nothing to do with that. This is just for peace. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a bit of a to and fro between the two of us, but I was building up, you know what I mean? Because I knew I had him. I knew I had him with the interviews I had, no matter what he said, because he started off by saying there's nobody in there that's like that. And then when I told him there was footage that I've got of people that's in there that's like that, he was like, well, there's nobody in there that I know of. You know what I mean? It all changed, you know what I mean? So he was changing, with it, you know what I mean? And then I was just trying to get to the point of, my simple question is, why does nobody speak to us? Why is nobody prepared to have a chat with us about us, like an open debate about it, like about what's truly going on? Um, you know, at the end of the day, it's the same rhetoric that comes from the left. It is the same rhetoric, so it is easy to defend if you know your stuff. You know a wee bit, you can defend it, guys. I will get your comments. I will get your comments. Let me get this out of the way because it's been a really stressful day, so it has. So anyway, Richard gets in it with him, and like so. Anyway, so what happened was, he started talking about the army. So like, triggered something in Richard. Richard's like, what I mean, big Christian man. So he's like, I need to get in. I was like, no problem. So there was this other guy, oh, two against one, two against one. So I was like, no, I'm backing off. I'm not going to ask any more questions. I'm handing it over to Richard. So it was just one on one. Um, and oof. They got into it all right, like, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to say no more about that. You'll see that when it comes out. Like I say, Richard's got it. I've got it. I think Richard. I'm not sure if Richard's audio was working all right, but we've got the footage. We've got the footage for you guys. So anyway, gets back to the house and straight away editing. You know what I mean? Editing. And so the first thing I done was put a video up on YouTube for you guys of the Nigerian guy that I interviewed at the end of the video from last Saturday. For anybody that didn't watch the end of the video, there was a cracking interview right at the end from a Nigerian guy that had came over here with a visa to work in Kerr. So, and it's nothing thingy. It's just an interview, a chat. There's nothing hingy about it or nothing. Spoke about mass immigration and stuff like that. So yeah, you've seen it. Most of you have seen it, but those that haven't seen it will be coming out in the short. So I put it up twice. Twice. First one I put up didn't have any sound. Then the second time, because I've got a wee arrow pointing to where as he comes in, I wanted you to see how he came in. And then he was filming us, and that's why I interacted with him because he started interacting with us by filming us, and I wanted to, he's filming CJ, and yeah, so I put that up and the arrow was in the wrong place, and I'm a perfectionist, so I had to take it back down again. And then I'm like, you know what? Somebody above was telling me not to put this video out. You know what I mean? So I just like, nah. But in the same time I'm doing that, I'm trying to send a video to Richard by hanging it 3 times because I'm still not clever about moving stuff. You know what I mean? Like moving a big video sometimes needs to be cut into 3 bits. Nightmare, absolute nightmare. Cap cut onto um Messenger, loading it on the Messenger. There, it was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. Stressed out. 3 hours I was at it. 3 hours. Just one of them days. Nothing went right. But yeah, make mistakes so we don't make them again. Oh, you're charging the gimbal as we speak. There you go, guys. The gimbal is being charged. I did just as you said. Richie, what the Irish started to spread everywhere, even in Europe. Sorry, guys. I only found Charlie Beats to hubby yesterday. Where have you been? Under a rock? I'm joking. I'm joking. Um, Sorry, read the rest of that out there. Spacecraft, space cadet. His wee bodyguard Fred is my new boyfriend. Who doesn't know he's my boyfriend yet? Giggle. Poor Fred. I'm joking. I'm joking. Roundabout's kick to the head. Roundabout. Right, okay. I watched that live yesterday. Right to be right. It's happening. Sounds like a great interview to watch when he releases it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's like here is two guys that's been in the services. You know what I mean? Having it out. Litigation. Nolan is no swingers. He is going to change his surname to Enoch. I can't pronounce that name. Sorry. Foxy lad. Green. How many yous reckon are going to get repatriated and deported for Ireland? How many yous reckon are going to get repatriated and deported from Ireland? Yeah, well, I can speak for Ireland. You know what I mean, mate? It's like it's a big really difficult thing to do. It's not impossible. Like, you know what I mean? You start with criminals. That's the first thing you do. And then you just make life fun. You don't give them everything they want. You know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, if he's watched that video, the Nigerian, he's tells you it straight. You know what I mean? They should be able to speak English for starters. you know? Um, so yeah, no, it wouldn't be too hard. Like I say, guys, the way I would judge it, if I was in charge of things in England, I would be going on how much benefits each person has taken from us, the government, taxpayers, you know, our grannies and our granddads who built this fucking place. That's the first place I would start. I would have a league table, and whoever's taking the most money that's been here, that's milked the system, they're the first to go. How we doing, Freedom Dan? Fred, keep going. We're winning. Woke is coming to an end. I'm glad everybody else is noticing it. All right, mate. Keep up the good work. All the best from Dunmurray. Feel Freedom Dad, first attempt at learning. I don't know what that means. Sorry, Dibs. Evening bunkers. Evening. Yeah, dog's been out good. Coffee's made. I've got a wee coffee there. My dogs have been fed. And they're in the garden. Enjoying the last of the sun. John. Hiya, Sophie. Hello, Freedom Dad and everyone. You going on the 13th of 7th? Uh, I can't really say too much right now, guys. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I've got a couple of options. And I would really like to go. It's no like I need to go to bring it. We've got something else in the pipeline, and I can't really say anything about it till we get it confirmed a wee bit more. Bit of work, still a wee bit of work to go, but we'll see what happens. Hi, Freedom Dad and team. Hi, Alan. 100% Freedom Dad. Thank you. Speak English and not have a thing for children or from a background that endorses it. Get your shit and get out the door. Yeah, because if they're going to use the excuses, like, because this is what we see, what's happening right now, and this is just, this is what I keep on saying. It's not us. This is the problem. You're not far right or racist, mean to talk about these issues. The way the government behave when these guys commit offences, and some of the judges have been lenient because their culture's different, and they're not long in the country, and in Afghanistan or Pakistan, that you can marry a child at 14, you know. And I don't know what the consent age is, but it'll probably be a bit lower than that. Who knows? I don't know. I know the Iraqi one, they were trying to bring that down to a silly age, you know what I mean, 8 or 9. Um, so whenever you have that situation where men are culturally different because of their laws, in these other countries so far away, then that's the first and only reason you need to say no. It's simple as that. And we've said yes. They've came in. We've seen the damage that they've done. It's not working. So, it's not like anybody can say we didn't try. It's not like anybody can say that the British people aren't kind hearted. They can't. We tried and we've had it thrown in their faces, and now it's time to go. Simple as that. I don't think anybody's not on the same page. There needs to be some sort of um, sensible decisions made in this country, that there's men in this country that shouldn't be here. There's terrorists and there's all sorts, and the government knowing that we don't have enough MI5 agents to keep an eye on all these things. It's the same with what's going on right now. England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Ireland. Every single resource is exhausted, from intelligence to MI5 to police to you name it, social work. Everybody that's targeting the right, whether it be all different from all different parts of the government, whether they're official or connected to the police through intelligence, or whether they're connected to the army with intelligence or whatever, they are totally exhausted. They don't have enough resources to keep an eye on the terrorists that are in this country, and the British government are forcing our military and police to watch us. How do you think that makes them police feel? How do you think the men at the top running the police and running the military are feeling right now? Having to spend all their time and resources on us, online, following us and about, watching us. They're everywhere we go. It's the same today, unmarked car, intelligence, not normal police. I don't care what anybody says. They're different police, you know? And it wasn't there was just me, three citizen journalists from the right. Yeah, and you know how we go. We're not rough, we don't shout, we're not violent, we're not cheeky, we're not abusive. We go in polite and like trying to communicate, because you're not going to get anywhere being smart or being snidey or anything, and I go in as an open saying I am right wing, I'm a journalist, I'm a citizen journalist, and I'm right wing, and I don't pretend or kid on the be left. Maybe I do the odd time. It depends where I am and who it is, you know what I mean? But with these people, I wanted to be genuine, and I wanted to, like, really. There was one guy, and I don't talk to you, don't want to talk to you. And this tells us who they are. You understand? If this was a group of people meeting for genuine peace, do you not think they would just say, you know what, Freedom Dad? Yeah, don't really know who you are, but why not? You know, I can hold my own. I'm proud of what I'm doing here. I can tell you what we're talking about in there. Don't want to talk to you. Don't want to talk to you. Snidey remarks, smart remarks. You know, Yeah, so the fact that this other guy, he had all the Palestine hanging around his neck and that, and he was like, "No, I don't talk." And I really did try my best. You know what I mean? You don't catch it all because the mic was off, but I was like, "Listen, mate, I'm just a citizen journalist. I'm just like you. We're just two human beings. Let's just talk. There's no. I'm not going to trip you up or trick you. I'm not that intelligent. You'll be fine." You know what I mean? I really did give him. I tried and tried and tried, and he was like, "I don't know. You hear me? Listen, mate. I was orphaned. I was in children's homes. I spent a bit of time in jail. I know about social policies. I know how the world works. Let's have a wee chat. Nah, nah, nah. And this is what we get all the time. And that's all I'm trying to find from where these people is somebody to talk to. You can tell me why they're there, you know, because there must be somebody there, you know what I mean, that can talk openly and honest. Freedom dog, never a arguable reason. Ignorance is no defense. So yeah, this other guy, Tim, who I got the interview with, he was on the phone to the BBC and put me on loudspeaker. The BBC says, "Yeah, I'm Freedom Dad." I'm like, I'm Freedom Dad. What's a crack? You know what I mean? I'm fucking got the mic to the thingy so you could hear it. You know what I mean? Because obviously I wouldn't speak to the BBC without you being there. And it was just a thingy call. And he just let them know, calm down. You know what I mean? We're not here for any trouble. We're just here to find out what's going on. And yeah, so yeah, so I'm not going to say any more because there's more to come. Okay, there's more I can say, and I want I will chat with Richard because I don't want to say anything too soon. You know what I mean? But there is something coming um, this week. You know what I mean? And I will be rolling live, and you will catch every bit of it. When will be the time the illegals will be shipped back where they came from, or is it impossible now? Not according to Donald Trump, as the Home Guard is now. Stop taking our kindness for weakness. Yeah, it is a very, very difficult situation. Davy, it really is. But we start with criminals. We start with people who've come into the country and committed crimes, right? So first of all, they've come in illegally, right? They've come in through visas and refused to go back. And our soft government, our traitors government, has given them citizenship to our country. Okay, so that's the first thing. But then they go on to commit crimes. You understand? So that's the second crime they've committed in this country. There's no three strikes. Like, there's no reason or no need for three strikes. The whole thing, they shouldn't even have the pleasure of our prisons because our prisons are soft. Our prisons are PlayStations, phones in your cell, gyms, good food, clean blankets every week or every 3 days or whatever, your own clothes, you know, and then the rest, you know what I mean? And they shouldn't even get that privilege, But again, they got the prison in this country because of our traitors government, and then they got let out of their prison and put in the social housing in our most vulnerable areas, as far as I can see, in my opinion, because of a traitors government. So there's no reasons or no excuses when the time comes. So there's nothing anybody can say. You know, um, these guys do not belong in our country. No, never, even before they committed the crime. So yeah, that's that. But nobody can argue with that. Um, and at the end of the day, with the backing of America, I'm quite sure we can put enough pressure on these countries to take these people back. There's no two ways about it. And if they don't want to take them back, I'm quite sure we could find somewhere for them. Britain is quite a popular country. Once we stop all this foreign aid money and all this money for hotels and all the money for illegals, because at the same time you need to start cutting back on housing benefits and people living in rich areas that have came in this country. Because that's what happened. London's full. I mean, London's full of places like that, and yeah, there's lots of things that can be done that can make life uncomfortable for somebody who is milking the system and here for the wrong reasons. And eventually they will leave themselves. Simple as that. They'll find a more vulnerable country, you know. They'll find a more once we get at this far left government, they will go and find another far left government. They'll probably end up in Canada or somewhere like that. You know what I mean? So it's not impossible, Davy. I understand it is. It seems everybody talks about it all being impossible, but I would always go on the concept of making life more difficult for them rather than making it really easy and making our life difficult. I think if we flipped it, you know, um, that would be it. They would stop coming for starters because they wouldn't anybody. We would put a complete stop in social benefit. We would have like some sort of something set up. You know what I mean, where they could earn some money and until they can get removed. You know what I mean, if they break into the country. But there's also I'm not educated in that kind of thing. It's just logical stuff I think about, guys. Um, you look at why they're coming here. So you stop that. So that's the first thing you do. You stop that. Because it's the carrot, isn't it? That's the carrot. So yeah, and then you do the checks and who's actually got so much money. Who's took all the money? Who's came over? Some of these guys would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years here, came in here illegally and got citizenship and haven't worked a day in their lives. You know what I mean? And probably have two wives and getting fucking a silly amount of money. Probably on Pip the Works. Yeah, that's all right. When Dove, I do it myself. I forget to hit the like button, so I do. On other YouTube channels, it's just like it just depends what you're doing. You know what I mean? Oh, cheers, biscuit. That very nice. Egg. Feed him, Dad. More than likely a class thing. Taking as if voting is legit. For fuck's sake. Yeah, I know. I can only speak for Northern Ireland and stuff like that. I know there is a lot of skepticism over voting and stuff like that. And yeah, of course it worries. These people, the government that are in power are the traders. They're the private schoolboys, the millionaires. So, of course they can cheat. You know what I mean? But we know now the feeling on the street. Nobody's going to vote for Labour. We know that nobody's going to vote for Sinn Féin. So we'll know if they get in. It's a fix, and then things would be different. And wouldn't it, I imagine? And sure, the old platform. Drug dealers out. Good man, Warren. Sure, they don't even know where most are from or what their true identity is. Yeah, it's easy to tell. You can tell where they're from. You know what I mean? You can tell Afghanistani men from Pakistani men, um, Iraqis, and you know Syrians maybe difficult one. Syria and Iraq would be a hard one, but like Eritrean, um, Nigeria, Congo, if uh, imagine they would know, they would be able to tell. And it's no like it's like I say, guys, it's just we're crumbling. Our infrastructure is crumbling, and it's going to get worse and worse because it's multiplying. It's multiplying in every way, not only by birth of how many children that they're going to have compared to us, but it's also multiplying by their families coming over and following them. You know, and that's a problem as far as voting's concerned. You know what I mean? Never mind the demographic. And the population, our population's dipping and their population growing. It doesn't need to be 50-50, guys. This is what I keep on saying. It doesn't need to be 20 or 30%. And if we don't vote, we could lose it. You know what I mean? You think about it. So you could say you've got a block of 100% and say, I reckon there'll be more people voting now. So say we get, last time it was 40% never voted. So I reckon maybe be 25 to 30% maybe won't vote this time because you're always going to get in people that just don't vote. So that leaves you with say 70%. So if you've got um, two right wing parties, a right wing party, two right wing parties taking 25% of the vote each, you know what I mean? It can leave it open. It can leave it open, and taking 25%, one taking 20%, one taking 10%. It leaves it open. You know what I mean? And that's a problem that I can see happening in the future because we can't seem to ever get our act together. Everybody wants to be in charge and wants to be a leader, right down the ground level, right down to where I am, like on the streets and in the patriot world and the online world. Um, but that's just human instinct. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just who we are. You know what I mean? We call it egos, but it's just human instinct. I don't hold it against anybody. Yeah, I really don't. Um, but the thing is like it's all about the whole talk about deportations is what you got to remember that we've got to understand that there's people been here for 20, 30, 40 years and they've integrated and they've settled. You know, we've got to know the difference between the ones that have been here for 10 years and the ones that are here for 10 months. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing we've got to keep an eye on. We aren't, we don't want to get caught up, maybe, and caught up in mass deportations and craziness like that. We're never going to, nobody's going to listen to this. You've got to come at this logically, you know. The optics of removing a man and a family who's been here 10, 15, 20 years is not something I ever want to see. And that's the truth. That's just me personally, you know what I mean? Everybody's got their own ideas and opinions, but this is just mine. Um, but as far as people breaking in this country, as far as people, and when I say I'm talking the last 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 years, that needs to be looked at seriously, looked at, you know. And with the criminal element, removing anybody that's come into the country from any other country, anybody that's got dual citizenship that's committed a crime or been in prison, they will be removed. That's going to take a big chunk out, believe it or not, because we only go on the statistics of how many people's in jail at one particular time. So if you've got like 20 or 30% or 40% of the population are foreigners, that's moving. That's people coming in and out. Yes, some people are in and out and in and out, but there is people coming in, getting out, and not going back in again, and another one coming in, getting out, not going in, coming in again. Like say the rape gangs, without doubt, every single one of them should be hunted down, for want of a better word, and removed. Back to Pakistan. You know what I mean? Enough of them have run back to Pakistan. So they have, whenever they've been looked for by the police, i.e., the Chris McDonald case in Scotland, when they took him in a car, travelled up to Dundee, tortured him in the car, tortured him back. A child, 15, 16, maybe 17 at the oldest. He wasn't over 18 anyway, and brought him back to a park in Glasgow and set him alight. You know, horrific, absolutely horrific on another level. And they fled to Pakistan. Them guys, these Scottish. I was in the jail. I was in the jail the same time as him in Scotland. You know what I mean? Not in the same jail as him, but in the system. You know what I mean? Um, there was one came on the R wing, and like Scottish boys just took too long. By the time they got round to doing anything to him, the screws got him back out sharpish. You know what I mean? Got him down in the and took him to another jail for protection, whatever. You know what I mean? The hospital wing or something. Can't mind. But they got them. They I know our British government. I know this from guys that I know from Scotland and people involved next to the family, that our British government done a deal with Pakistan to take more people from Pakistan. As far as I'm aware, that's my opinion, educational and entertainment purposes only. They're just the opinion of a guy from Belfast, you know what I mean, of what I see and what I hear, on the ground. And that needs looked into. I've tried finding information about it, right? I really have, and because I need the receipts. This is why I'm saying this is what I've heard. You know what I mean? Um, so there was a deal done to get them guys back. Pakistan did not just give us them guys back. Okay, I'm telling you that now. I know that for a fact. There was a deal done, and I'm not 100% sure what the deal was, but I'm sure it was to take Pakistani a deal where they could come over. That needs looked into, that whole thing. That was a wee while ago. So we know that they go there when the police are looking at them. So there's no problem with that. You know, aren't two main problems right now that I see with the league tables and stuff, and what's highlighted with the what's happened in up and down the breadth of England is Pakistan and Afghanistan, and I think Eritrea maybe are up there as well. I'm sure there's another country that's up there as far as crime's concerned. So that's straight away. It's not difficult. They're not everybody's bad. There's no two ways about it, guys. It's not hard to work out. So it's not. We've got enough experience and information in the last 20 years of what's went wrong. It's no like we're going into something blindly. Because we can research and look into it and see who's doing the most damage, who's causing the most problems, who's taking the most money. And you work your way from that. And by the time you get down to the half decent ones, they're going to be coming off social media. They're going to be coming off the social benefits, and they're going to be getting jobs, and they're going to integrate, and they're going to behave themselves because they know if they break the law, they know if they don't get a job, they know if they try and milk the system, they're gone. And that's the solution. It's so simple. And then we just get back to our old ways. We have more children. We pay our parents more money for having children. We pay people that are cleaning toilets and people who are cleaning up after people and looking after our elderly. We pay them top bucks to locals. Locals should be looking after locals. You know what I mean? And that's fucking. You don't even need to argue about that one. I want people in my area looking after me if I'm sitting there rambling on about mad stuff when I'm 80 year old, God willing. That's what I want. I don't want anybody that doesn't know me, my culture, or my traditions, or the tattoos on my arm. Simple as that. I don't want to be getting abused by somebody that hates somebody like me. So that's very important for me. You know what I mean? And I think we all agree with that. And yeah, and the doctors and engineers, then we need to buck our ideas up as well. We need to pay our doctors and our nurses a good wage. You know. And if there needs to be a difference in the wage from people coming into the country compared to people born and bred in the country, then we can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. We pay our people extra money, so we keep them. We keep them. We keep our own people. We keep ourselves. We keep our future. Simple as that. If we keep our own here and don't let them go off anywhere else for more money, make it rewarding enough for them to stay here, then everything will fall into place. It might take us 10, 15, 20 years to really get it up and running and get our communities and our births back up, but we can do it. It's doable. And because we're removing bad eggs and bad people and anybody that's got anything to do with like extremism of Islam, any suspicion, because they've got intelligence of food, out, all gone. I mean, it'll be a breath of fresh air for everybody. A lot of people will be a lot more safer. Nobody will need to walk about parks. There won't be anybody getting attacked. You know what is wrong with what all I've just said. Is that far right and racist, guys? I don't think it is. I know it's not because I know I'm not. But is there any argument for that to be far right and racist? Because that's it. That's it. That's all I do believe that the right of politics want. They don't want a mass remigration of every single foreigner. That's what I truly believe. I don't think we'll ever get a politician that will ever go for that. No matter what they might say, I don't think when it comes down to the crunch that we're that inhuman to remove families that have been here for 20 years. That's interacted and it's part of our society. I don't think we're inhuman, you know. Hitting the walk soon myself needs to be done, folks. You can't sit and watch all the time. Yeah, good. What was in the Sunday rag? Nothing. Nothing. It's every 2 weeks. It'll be next week. Every 2 weeks. I don't think they could do it every week. I think I would be able to do something about it. So I think they just come at me every 2 weeks or come up. It's not always about me, but I'm always put in there. There's always a photograph of me and a wee bit about me. Um, but like I say, they have started putting my channel, my full name on my channel, and evening off from Mrs. Scotland, born and bred in County Antrim. Somalia is the Somalia. Thank you, Alien. Okay, thank you. I'll have a look at that. Little Englander, how you doing, mate? We have to be heartless to fix our countries. Compassion will just hold us back. Try deporting thousands of people. Feelings must be gone. Yeah, I know, but that's for maybe the far left, um, that have some sort of mad notion that it's a good idea to leave really dangerous men in our country. Yeah, that's not for us. We can fix. Please believe me, we can fix things. We can protect the future for our children and our grandchildren and our grandchildren without having to remove every single foreigner. That's just madness. We've had immigration in this country for a very long time. I had a black doctor when I was like 6, 7 years old. That's where I remember when my mum was going to the doctors all the time. Obviously, she had cancer. I was a kid. She died when I was 8, so it was before I was 8. So I don't know how far back I had the doctor, but it didn't make any difference to me. And I've been around lots of people in my life, in prison, out of prison, everywhere, been treated by Muslim doctors and Muslim nurses, and they aren't extremists. They don't have beards, they're not wearing headscarves. You know, they're not all like that fixated on following the Quran. We've got loads of people like Lubna. You understand? There's loads of people like Lubna. Would you kick Lubna back? Would you say if a government came in and said, right, we're deporting her, how would you feel about our Lubna talks being deported, guys? You know? And like I say, she was born here. But being born here doesn't save you as well. I mean, if you've got dual citizenship and you're fucking committing crimes and stuff like that, then yeah, I don't think you've got any right to hold on to the British passport if you're going to abuse the British people, um, and the laws. I think when you come into this country, it's a gift. It's like you don't look like a gift horse in the mouth. You know what I mean? It's like when you come into this country, no matter when it is, if you've got a passport to another country and you abuse our country, then you got to go back to the country that you're visiting. Well, because these guys are back and forth like yo-yos. That's why they were wanting an airport built in Pakistan, so it was easier for them, so they didn't have to travel up to Lahore, or so they didn't have to travel down. You going about with your fluffy microphone isn't going to change anything. You banging on about being a citizen journalist isn't going to change anything. You're just doing it for clicks and likes. Well, I'll just let everybody else judge me, mate. I'm not gonna. Like, that's your opinion, which is fair enough. If you don't think I'm doing no good, if you don't think nothing's working, that's up to you. That's not what everybody else is telling me, mate. Um, how can you? I can send you coffee, Freedom Dad. Can I do it just by card and my phone, my bank app not working at the minute? New contact, need to change my number with bank. Nope, don't worry about it, Callie. Honestly, um, so he's under a lot of pressure. Know the feeling. So you're talking amongst yourselves. What are you doing about it then, David? Oh, he's all right. He's just frustrated at the situation. So I know none of the migrants would ever get in here. Just stop the boats. It's not about the boats, Mark. It's not just about the boats, mate. The boats is a small part. The boats is a distraction. The visas, they're giving out visas like Smarties. There's kebab shops giving out hundreds of visas. That's happening. I know we know of a couple, and then God knows how many there is that we don't know about, and all the different ways, and all the student visas and everything else. They're coming in here. They're coming in planes. They're coming in on ferries, and they're just not going back. They're coming on holiday, and they're just not going back. So the government are quite happy with us focusing on the boats because the boats is a summer thing really as well. We get loads coming in the summer, calm days, but the ones that are coming in through planes and ferries and through visas, they don't need bad. They don't care about sunny weather or bad weather, winter, autumn, summer, or spring. They don't care. They're coming in. It's non-stop. You know. So that's my opinion, mate. That's just my opinion. Buttercup, hi, Freedom Dad. I see you. Osman Gold, you have hit the big time. He has 3.99. He has 4 million 4 million subscribers. How do you deal with 4 million of subscribers? How do you even fucking deal with that? You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah, I've said it was because of Lauderer, you know what I mean, British Lauderer. So yeah, I want a world where we can go anywhere and enjoy it without fear or judgment. We're failing to stop and smell the roses. Illusion is over. Yeah, unfortunately, illusion is over. You're not going to get that world, right? There's too much madness in the world right now. There's too many bad people running about willy nilly, no ID, no passports, just freely running about from country to country, going, I'm a refugee, you can't touch me. What's your name? Don't have a name, you know. And that's the rest of the world. That's Europe right now. Germany, you know, you know this, you know all the countries that are really struggling right now. And yeah, it is really dangerous. France is not a place you want to go anymore. You don't want to go to Paris, you know? What does this purple crown and number mean? Hope it's not a prize and that many fake UGs sent to stay with me. I don't know what it is, mate. Well, you aren't getting a complimentary stream watching sausage roll in. Tuts Skippy the kangaroo. Don't worry, Debs. No big deal. Listen, it's people can come on and criticize me. It's you know, I just don't think he likes my fluffy make. The fluffy make isn't just about a fluffy make. It stops the wind. It's actually got. It's really good. Man. Like, honestly, guys, it's not. It really does stop the wind. You remember the early days, me walking around the fields and all that, and out with the dogs and fucking going there a wee bit. It would just be windy, and you wouldn't hear a fucking word I was saying for about 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Before I ever had any makes and all that. So yeah, I'm quite happy with my fluffy make. I might get a different coloured one. What coloured fluffy make should I get, guys? If you don't mind me asking, because I don't know, do YouTube take a slice of Buy Me a Coffee? No, it's totally independent from Buy Me a Coffee, but they do take a wee tiny bit, and it's not much. It's not much. Couple of pence at every pound. Um, but yeah, it's totally independent from YouTube. I don't make any money from YouTube at all. This is totally free content for you guys, and it's totally free to subscribe. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And I was looking at my. I don't really do it, right? I don't know what made me do it. I think I was looking to see how many subscribers I had because I don't even do that because it doesn't tell you how many on the normal YouTube. It just gives you it doesn't break it down to the precise numbers. And I thought, oh, we look. and I've went through the stats and all that, and I always hear YouTubers going, out of all everybody that watches my videos, only 40% of these are subscribed. I'd be like, why? That's very strange. Only 40 people are subscribed. 40%. But then I seen it today. I'm the same. So it's about 40, nearly the 50% are subscribed that watch my videos, and 50% that aren't subscribed. But I think that 50% is ones that just come in and watch a video and go, oh, he's not for me. And they just don't come back. You know what I mean? Um, so I think people who want to watch my content and enjoy my content will subscribe, and that's all that matters. You know, man, I don't want to force people to subscribe. If you like the content, there's no point being here if you don't like the content, because there's not much out there. There's something for everybody. It was great yesterday at the march. Didn't get a chance to shake your hand, Freedom Dad, sometime soon, hopefully. Yeah, Friday, banger seafront. Just come up and say hello. Say you're a subscriber. You know what I mean? I'm such and such online. You know what I mean? You got to really grab me and tell me. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people come up and saying to me things, and I'm totally forgetting. Like, I came up to see me in Chimney Corner, Glen Gormley, and I know I should have spoke more to him, and it was so hectic. And I really need him to get back in touch. I remember what he looks like, so I will be looking out for him next time. This is only my opinion. It hurts my heart what we went through when I was growing up, scared to go out and stuff. We together got past all the time, all that just to have fear on our streets again. Yeah, pink fluffy one for Lucky. Yeah, that maybe here. Yeah, it could work with the Palestinians, guys. That could work. A pink fluffy one. Maybe that'll like calm them a wee bit. Maybe that's just a bit rough looking. You know what I mean? Bit of a Don King look about it. You know what I mean? The boxing. Maybe a nice wee pink fluffy one. You know, maybe that'll like maybe you never know. Could trigger something. Like he's got a pink microphone. He can't be that bad. you know, freedom for freedom of speech and dad because he's a dad. Thank you, Foxy lad. Freedom Dad, there are multiple thousands who have arrived on boats. How many are here to do harm? One is too many, but judging on history, we will see another Southport coming. Yeah, 100%. There's going to be an atrocity. 100%. Hello, Bradford Loyal. Good to see you. So, yep, I'm curious. Freedom Dad, like I said, all these, most of my guys know this, you know what I mean? So, I was, I had, to, I've always wanted to do a bit more online, and I was battling with YouTube and not mostly YouTube, mostly Facebook, and getting like stuff removed, like everybody else back in the day, and it was just a battle, putting stuff about Tommy Robinson and getting it taken down and all that, and just communicating with other patriots around Britain and having a wee community, and then it would be shut down and then starting again, and it was just what happened was obviously Katie was pregnant, and it was must have been about 6 months just into the pregnancy, maybe seven at a push. And it was lying next to her, and the baby pushed and hit me on the side, you know what I mean? And that was when I realized my wee baby Lucky was actually in this world, you know what I mean? She was here, she was there, you know what I mean? And obviously getting all the scans and all done, it was amazing. Um, and then Southport happened, and then all the YouTubers went quiet because of what was going on. And I knew the law. I knew you were allowed to criticize the government. I knew we had freedom of speech. I just knew the parameters, the lines you couldn't cross, and that's it. I think one of my first videos was message to Starmer. I think it was 140,000 views. So that sort of kicked me right off. A lot of big views at the start. I was doing really well, hitting 40,000 views, 30,000 views. And I mean, I just started. I had a few hundred subs, guys, and I'm rattling the views. I'm putting videos out and they're fucking going viral. And then YouTube, boom, stopped it. Stopped the videos going out. So it went right down to 300 views, 200 views. Or maybe my content wasn't good enough. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here. But yeah, I think YouTube, obviously, you can see how it went. It went like that. Um, and like, I never done this. I always done this for other people to share and stuff. I wasn't. I like my community. And I was going through a lot of personal stuff as well. I had long lost my wife as well, and having a baby was a bit stressful for me for all sorts of personal reasons. Going right back to my childhood. So yeah, it was a really difficult time mentally, and it was good to be able to get some of that stuff out and talk to the guys. And we're talking about mental health, and it led to other things, and it was brilliant. And the feedback I got was amazing, and I was helping people, and people were telling me I was helping them, and yeah, so that kept me driving, doing the same thing going forward. And like I say, the name. So this is exactly what happened. I got up one day, and I says I'm starting a YouTube channel, and I thought of a name like that, and I wrote the description straight away in one go, and that was it. And I mean, probably within 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, I thought of the name, wrote the description of the channel, and away I went. And I think I've stayed loyal to that description. That's that description of what my channel's about is from that moment of seeing like a lot of YouTubers left the country. A lot of YouTubers completely went quiet. I mean, everybody's talking about people getting arrested. There was YouTubers arrested. There was loads of people getting arrested, and yeah, I went online and started doing these videos. Sequels, yeah, yeah, that will happen. So it will. CJ Audits in the house, guys. Good wee video earlier on, mate. Yeah, you buy one coffee, you get a notification. You get an email every time I go live. Anywhere, if I'm in the house, if I'm in Belfast, anywhere in Northern Ireland, if I'm throwing a live up, there's only a couple of times I haven't had the time to do it because it's been really like under a lot of pressure. But out of all the lives, 99.9%, you get an email either half an hour or straight. Like I'll say I'm going live now, or I'm going live in half seven, eight, and that's the only way I can do it. Well, there's probably other ways I can do it. You know what I mean? But the buy me a coffees do help. It helps in many many ways. No problem, Callie. Window man, what about ye? Okay, cheers. Cheers, Mark. September the 6th, 1 p.m. Stormont, December the 13th, London. And there's other dates coming, guys. There is other dates coming. There's a couple of things coming up that's in the pipeline that I can't really say too much about right now. One of them's 100% given. Date is there. As soon as the people who are organizing it release it, I will then go with it. Would Dove, I don't want to talk about that right now. I've got some information coming shortly about the 13th of September. Um, you know, I can't say too much, but yeah, I'm not saying I'm not gonna go, but there's something else happening, and you'll understand. Not a single dislike in the stream. Fair play. Cheers, first person. Iron Lady Freedom Dad has a video as well, also. So folks, check out Freedom Dad's video. What video? The one of the two homeless, the guy and the girl. Scary times, but without people like yourself, we wouldn't have a clue about half of what's going on. You are so appreciated and loved by many. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Um, Hopefully most of the stuff in the pipeline is happening when I'm home, Freedom Dad, because I'd hate missing out on events. Well, one's in September after the Tommy demo, um, and the other one will be around the date of the Tommy demo. I hope you do something when your following becomes big enough. You cannot be peaceful with what's coming, and asking questions to people who don't even know they are alive is not going to cut it. Yeah, yeah, Yanks. It's not about. I don't need my platform to be massive to do what we need to do. We're looking for leaders. Simple as that. There's no messing up, beating about the bush here. We're looking for leaders. We're looking for people in our communities to lead us, take the reins, and get us out of the mess that we're in right now. That's all it's about. You know. Halal pork. It's a waste of time commenting on your channel, Freedom Dad, because I speak the truth. Never a waste of time, mate. Nothing's a waste of time. Um, it's need to get the truth from real people, not the BS from the MSM. Thank you, Raccoon. Thank you, Bernie. Hit the like, please, guys. Thank you, sir. Foxy lad, big up, sir. Yo. Oh, dearie me. What am I going to do, wee Foxy lad? What do you think about what Aunt Milton said? I don't know what to think it. I think it's a rallying call to get people at the demo. I don't think I'll go much further than that. I might be wrong, you know what I mean? It is a dangerous game to play. So it is from Aunt Middleton to, create a situation where people think something may be happening. You know, 2 seconds, I'll get that in a minute, CJ. But as far as I keep on saying this, what would you gain? What is it again? What do you think you would do? You know? Um, this is the question I always ask people, what's the plan? Taking over Parliament, taking over the houses 10 Down Street. It's like eventually people would go home. There would be a small hardline guys there, and they would just cattle everybody and bring in police forces from all over Britain and pick people off one by one. You know, um, yeah. He basically said, to go to Tommy Robinson rally. Basically, he gave this sort of thing that there's going to be more than a demo. It's like a call to action and bring your shields. You know what I mean? It was like fight and talk, fight and talk. You know what I mean? You're going to have maybe close to 1 million people, patriots, going to Tommy's demo, and he's giving that sort of rhetoric, and a lot of people want that. A lot of people believe in that. They want to lash out. They want to fight. I know this. I get it all the time. You know what I mean? Civil war. We'll fight them. We'll take them on and all that. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I really don't know. I cannot see us ever beating the system or the government. I don't know Emerald, mate. I don't know any of these guys. You don't know who's compromised, who's working for who. You really don't. You can't tell. You cannot. Nobody in the right mind. Anybody that's any group that's infiltrated and compromised. You know, I know how it works. I know it's normally up high. You look at the INLA in Dublin and in Southern Ireland when they were compromised. That was at the top. They put an FBI agent right at the top of their organization. You know what I mean? And we've heard that quite a lot. It's always like guys that are right up at the top. We've got the evidence of that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go into the history books in Northern Ireland, but guys from Northern Ireland know what I'm talking about. So yeah, definitely people are infiltrated. We've got our ideas. You know what I mean? Of it's people who know how they work and who would be targeted, and how people would be targeted. Then you can pretty much eliminate people, and you're just left with certain people. And we know who we know. A lot of us know. You know what I mean? Um, Copper's getting RC and Epping, but yeah, like I say, it will always be people who have control or people who have a voice. And this isn't Tommy Robinson, obviously isn't compromised or he wouldn't have been persecuted. So let's not even go down that road. I don't want anybody thinking I'm talking about Tommy Robinson. I'm talking about people that are close to Tommy Robinson. Um, and then anybody else that's coming into the fray, it will be somebody. Listen. It won't be wee Joe from Doncaster that goes to Tommy's rallies. That's compromised. Do you understand? You know, it won't be who serves them their breakfast at their local cafe when if they're doing a routine and going for breakfast every morning at the same place. It's going to be somebody that's influential. They can make a difference. They can do their bidding. So always be aware of that, guys. You know what I mean? Always be aware of that. I'll never point the finger at anybody. You know, we have our suspicions, and that's it. But as far as everything else, I'm as oblivious to you. You can weigh all that up yourselves and have a look at people and how they change and shift and swap and you know. Thank you, SP. I was in Belfast last week. The lagoon busted. Please be careful. The water is bad. Yeah, we know. We know it's a lagging. We know our lagging. Don't worry. um, at the end of the day, but thank you for that info, mate. At the end of the day, it might depend on whose side the military is on. Well, that's a good point, mate. That is a good point. Would the military go up against us? I don't know. Like I say, they're under so much pressure. The police are under so much pressure. They must be going to the Labour Party. What are you doing? We can't keep an eye on all the extremists that you're bringing in and keep an eye on all the right wingers because they're going up against mass immigration. Can you imagine what it's like right now? There's an awakening like no other. Like every platform is a buzz with right wing. Every time somebody from the left puts something up, they're slaughtered. You know, I don't know how they're coping, how they're keeping an eye on everybody, how they're listening to everybody's phones and WhatsApp messages and everything that they can do. The power that they have with TikTok and Messenger. People are oblivious. You're writing your messages in Messenger. Facebook will give the police access to that. You know what I mean? iPhones are compromised. Everything has changed as far as surveillance on us, and it doesn't matter because they're overwhelmed. They're so overwhelmed. You know, if there was anybody out there going to cause any harm from the right side of politics, I think they would probably get through because they're so overwhelmed. And goes vice versa for the other side. There's the extremists in Islam. You know, there's that many now. There's no way the government are keeping an eye on them all. It's only a matter of time before one of them gets through. You know what I mean? Um, and then obviously they're concentrating on spies and people come from Iran and all that. You know what I mean? So it's overwhelming for them. You've got to stop to think of what it must be like for our intelligence services right now. In the last 5 years, what this government have done, as far as the government are concerned, they've created a monster on the right, and then they've let all these guys in that are going to do us so much harm. And our police and intelligence service, both army and police, have got to deal with all that. How much is that costing us? How much money do you think that alone is costing us to keep an eye on us and keep an eye on them? When if they had us not let it come in, not only would have all them children be saved, but they would have saved a fortune on hotels. They would have saved a fortune on interpreters, and they would have saved a fortune with the police and the army. The police are overrun. Overtime, they're losing people are leaving the police because they don't want to go up and get photographed and filmed beating patriots back, you know, and they are absolutely overwhelmed. You've got to understand. I don't think anybody actually realizes that side of things. You know what I mean? Because of my background, because of what I know, they're overwhelmed, truly and utterly overwhelmed. And they're going to the platforms saying, "Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down." And YouTube and that are going and all these platforms and going, "If we shut all these guys down, we're going to lose millions and millions in revenue." Because there's that many of us now. And who do they pick to shut down? It's like, you know, YouTube and all these other platforms are like, no, no, he's just telling the truth. We can't shut the guy down for telling the truth just because it doesn't suit you. And it's the truth. There's so much money involved in social media, you know, and yeah, these are the things that people don't think about. And I like to bring these things up. I always catch on to these things like that demo yesterday. No cars. This is in the middle of this. This is up from the Europa Hotel, the most bombed hotel in Europe, next door to the Grand Opera House. You know what I mean? And you know, a stone's throw, catapult throw away from the city hall. You don't know the amount of traffic was going by them guys. You know, and they had maybe 3 cars beep in an hour. What does that tell you? Freedom Dad doesn't miss a trick. That's what that tells you. Think I could get a cup of coffee? Somebody, please. Blake, maybe. Freddie, want to come in and make me a cup of coffee? Illusion is over. We're looking at the left hand, but not seeing what the right hand is doing. I get what you're saying, mate. I know what you're saying. Cups in here, mate. Thank you. There's Blake. Look, the other night, the guy that spoke about cam glasses, then they popped up on iPhone. Yeah, John, listen, everybody, everybody must have experienced this. You talk about something, then it pops up on your phone. It pops up as an advert on Facebook or wherever. You know what I mean? Yes, your phone's listening to you for them purposes. You need to turn certain things off, guys. You just need to know what you're doing with your phones. Okay, you need to learn a wee bit about your phones. You can turn a lot of things off, believe it or not. Google it. Just YouTube it. There's YouTubers out there that will tell you exactly what to do for privacy. Just put in um, iPhone security or something like that. Whatever your phone is, put it in, and you'll get a step by step of going through the settings and turning things off that don't need to be on. Okay, please believe me. But if you have to create your own security. Okay, it's not impossible. You can at least make it a wee bit more difficult for them, guys. Cheers, Buttercup. Thank you for popping in. Can you see any similarities from the past, and do you see the mainland becoming the new troubles, walls and all? No, I don't. I don't see this violence that you're talking about. I see the deterioration of England. I see a small group in each area of hard men coming out, and I see them being taken off the streets and put in the prison. I see worse men being released for these men to go in, and I see the rest of the community being left vulnerable. You know, um, I don't think I think it's too late. I really do. In some parts of England, if maybe there was a break in England, I don't know. I don't know. It's really serious, really frightening. Um, you see the power that these guys have over our government, like for forcing our government to bring in Islamophobia laws. At Khan and Starmer, best of buddies and all that. We see the influence they have in the towns. We see with Tommy Robinson's video what exactly went wrong there and why. We see in all the grooming gang towns what went wrong there and why. Who was in charge of the council, Birmingham. We see what's going wrong there. We see changes like we've never seen before. We see people in power that should not be in power. We see that, and we see the damage it's doing. So is that going to stop, or is that going to get? Is there going to be more people? Who is your future lawyers? Who are your future judges? Who are your future people working in Home Office? Who is your future government? So that's what needs to be dealt with. You need to deal with that first. You need to take control of power for the English, Welsh, and Scotland and the Northern Irish people. We need to have local people and people who are solely focused on one country, not England and Pakistan, England and Afghanistan, England and Iraq, or whatever. Focused on just England, just English people. And I think it's very important. Anybody in the Home Office, they should be, born and bred here. There should be no mistakes when it comes to that. You know, and I believe there's many mistakes being made, my opinion, which are quite damning and dangerous for the country, security wise. And people never really question the fact that we've only got around 30,000 troops. Nobody really questions it. But the facts are there's a reason, because I don't think any country in the world wants us being armed, or being ready to fight or do damage to any other country. Thank you. So I think we are being disarmed. I think when Vice President Vance said, Britain will be the first Muslim country with nuclear weapons, you know, it's came into his head for the joke to come out. You get me? It wasn't just a joke that he read out of the papers or a wee joke book. That was a joke that came into his head. That thought came into his head. Why are we joking about stuff like that? When did we become a country where people joke about us becoming a Muslim nuclear power? So there's a reason why we don't have many troops. There's a reason why we probably don't have any nuclear capability right now, because we need certain parts from America. We've probably got a few nukes that we got all the parts for, but once we run out of them, I don't think they would give us any more. Or if the dates of these things, because they only can, I don't know the full ins and outs, but whenever people say, "Oh, Britain's nuclear power," or "We got nuclear weapons," the only reason we got nuclear weapons is because we rely on other countries. We build and fit so much of it, but the main components we need to bring in from America. And I don't think America is going to be giving us parts for nuclear weapons anytime soon, guys. And that's just facts. Foxy lad, you wee chancer, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking, oh, lady J, you're getting there, hey, hey. How old are you? You wee chancer, you. I'm old enough, Lady J. Yeah. What's the series Black Mirror? Then you'll get the whole concept of why we all have phones. Yes, I've watched Black Mirror, so I have Lady J. Alan, please backing down and adding LOL. Got a bit heated. Foxy lad, old. Well, much is that costing? How much do you think that's costing? Well, the police are on big money because of what they're dealing with right now. It's like danger money. That's what they call it in Northern Ireland. Whenever the troubles were going, the police and the army got extra money. It's called danger money. They'll definitely be on that. There's no way they're just firing them policemen out and paying them the same amount of money as they would be walking about the streets doing the beat. So how much money are we forking out right now on all these protests to be policed all around the country? It must be draining the government. It's draining them, and another side people don't think about. That's a problem. It's not about the police officers, it's not about anybody getting hurt, not about anything. It's about money. We are What the people in England are doing is draining the last of the money from the government to force a new election, because when there's no money, they're going to have to explain themselves and using, oh, we came in with a deficit from because of the Tories. We know how much was there, we know how much is there now, we know what you've done. We know you give Syria 50 million and the rest. We know how much you give Ukraine. For what? The most corrupt country in the world, people are saying. Ukraine. The most corrupt government in the world. All done by Biden. All the Bidens. Hunter Biden, a lot. Ball deep in corruption. That's my opinion from what I've seen and heard. And the fact that President Biden at the time needed to um, pardon his whole family. Well, it wasn't really him, as we know. Somebody pardoned his whole family. Tells you everything you need to know. The only people who wanted the war was Biden and Starmer, the two most far, and France, the far left governments in the world wanted the war so they could hold on to power. That was what that was about. To have an excuse of where the money's went. You know, they're sweating it. They're backed in the corner, and they thought, "Let's start a war." And they really did try to start a war, and the history books will show us that as we move forward. It's all a wee bit blurred at the minute, wee bit of a smoke screen going up. People aren't really seeing the facts. But when the dust settles and people look back, you're going to see how much danger we were truly in because of Starmer and Macron and the rest. If we seen a glimpse of what it would be like in 10 years' time, what do you think it would look like? There'll probably be about 20 to 30% Muslim in government. There will be more Sharia courts. There will be more mosques. They will have more rights. And if you think it's bad now for us, as far as Islamophobia laws and not being able to criticize Islam, by then there will be Islamophobia laws, and you won't be able to criticize Islam. You know, if we've seen a glimpse of what it would be like in 10 years, yeah, I've got that one. Lady J, I'm from Newton Abbey, but working away at the moment. Use your old Nokia, drop it, and you need to fix your tile floor. Smart making us daft. Good one, 8 Mags. Good to see. Belfast Mafia. If we don't take a stand like the old days, in 10 years, we're all screwed. Cheers, John Rankin, Foxy lad. I heard a guy from here who said they are training in the barracks here, which makes sense if those brought in hotels are for a purpose. Yeah, it will be. Well, just on that note, I have seen Muslims training. you know, it is looks a wee bit dodgy. You know what I mean? All Muslim men. You know what I mean? All training, boxing, doing this. I've seen videos like auto pen, correct, first person. Kenda, Kendo, good one, mate. Freedom Dad, do you believe biblically we are in end times? Maggie May. Yeah, there is a part of me believes that. There is a part of me believes that. All I'm going to say about that is we're closer than we've ever been. That's all I'm going to say about that. And yeah, but I also think there's other things coming. You know what I mean? I'm going to go outside the box a wee bit. You know what I mean? Just personally talk about me, what I think. I do believe in aliens. I do believe that there's extraterrestrials. I do believe there's other people out there than us. And whether or not we'll ever get to see them in our time or not, I don't know. You know what I mean? Um, will the government use it against us some way? You know what I mean? Possibility. Could they make something up somehow? Big possibility. And could these aliens, and I don't know, just don't know what people from outer space, you know what I mean? If they came here, could they harm us? Very, very, very likely. So yeah, to be here on this planet and to know what we know and see what we see and know that we're trapped in the planet, that nobody can leave the planet. Um, there's something more. There's definitely something more going on. You know what I mean? Um, the fact that we can't get I'm not a flat earther or not, but I do like to hear the argument. I do always like to know. I always like to hear somebody prove that there's a globe. That's all I want, and it's never been proved yet, and that's fact. We've got blurry images. You know what I mean? But that could be taken from the top of a flat Earth that looks round. You know what I mean? So, we haven't got any images. The images that you see of the Earth are AI. They're all AI. They're all made up. We haven't got real photographic evidence. Um, they say they've took photographs of one of the satellites going out, looking back. So everybody's into their own thing and believes their own thing. I don't push anything like that out in my platform. It's just we come across it every now and again and discuss it. And like I say, guys, the arguments out there, there's plenty of arguments. There's lot of intelligent people telling us a lot of stuff that's quite mind blowing. Um, you know, I think we're more or less, we all agree that we never went to the moon. That was all a ploy to try and prove to the Russians that we were better. We know that no human being or animal can get through the layer to get into outer space, and the only thing we can send out there is satellites and other stuff that doesn't have any DNA. There's some sort of ring. So yeah, it is a scary thought knowing that we're trapped on this earth and we've got to eat to live. You know what I mean? A lot of people do compare it to a prison. You know what I mean? And it is an interesting concept too. If you're all right thinking about stuff like that and you're not scared to go down rabbit holes, it is interesting. But like I say, I don't concentrate on it because I've got the most important thing to me is my daughter. The most important thing after that's my country. You know, after that's the future for my daughter and my country, and that's where my hingies are, guys. Somebody get freedom down a packet of custard creams. There's biscuits in there, guys. A lot of people being deleted. Martin Duffin, what have you been up to? I like to have a wee bit of crack on my trolls, guys. Do you reckon there's life on other planets? I don't think the planets that we see there's life on, but maybe further out there, you know. But I imagine, obviously, if there's us, there has to be others, without a doubt. And the pyramids and this the architecture from very, very long time ago when they had just chisels and stuff. It wasn't done by chisels. We see the art. It's done. There's something else that's done that. There's lasers or something's happened. The detail on pillars over and over again. Little tiny leaves, all carved, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and you're like, we couldn't replicate it today. There's not a stonemason in the world that could do that, and nobody wants to talk about it. You know, what I mean, the government don't, you know, they don't want, and it's obvious. It's obvious to everybody that there's been something here. There was something, some intelligence here, well before us, before the modern world came along. You know, so yeah, I think it's just logical stuff. You look at things that have been built hundreds and hundreds of years ago by hand and by tools, sometimes by flint, you know what I mean, bits of metal, you know, as they were learning, and you're like, nah, nah, we can't do it today. They never done it yesterday. Simple as that. If we can't do it with the technology we've got today, then how the fuck did they do it? No, I'm not saying it's flat. I'm just saying I like the argument. I like the concept. I'm into that kind of thing. I like to hear people, you know, discuss it. You know, I'm just waiting for that proof to shut everybody up. And when you've got intelligent people and people going on the Joe Rogan show and stuff like that, talking about it, you've got to ask yourself, how is there even an argument there? You know, how is there even an argument there? You know what I mean? I think some people actually watch, remember the old BBC news and they had the globe, you know what I mean? I think somebody actually believed that was our globe. So they say, yeah, that's definitely our globe. Bob Lazar, he's brilliant. Bob Lazar is good. Like, I don't know whether I believe him or not. That's the thing, you know what I mean? Don't know whether I believe him. But at least we know there's aliens. The Trump administration, that's all been out, and they've found craft that isn't from here, and they've admitted that. You know what I mean? So we are heading towards the truth. I don't know, Thomas. I think England's got. I think they're heading towards the right direction. I don't think Northern Ireland is the last link, um, the last savior. I don't know how we're going to save England. Like England has to save itself. We can't do that. We have enough problems trying to save us. Right, Max. If the Earth was flat, cats would have pushed everything off the edge already. Build me a pyramid, bro. I know. It's nuts, isn't it? Like it is nuts. And I like hearing the arguments about the pyramids, all the different people's concepts and how they done it. You know what I mean? It's this simple. Explain the crystal skulls couldn't have been made at that time with the tools that was available. Now, I've seen stuff that would blow your mind. I've seen stuff that they've dug out of the ground. It's like I don't maybe 1,000 years ago. Like we're talking craftware, and they were making bowls, and the bottom of the bowl, right? Like a bowl that size, the bottom of the bowl, it was like a pinprick that held the bowl, and it balanced perfectly. How do you do that back then? How could they engineer or manufacture something so precise? So precise. It's something's not right. We've been lied about something. And I think you know who's got the answers? I do believe the answers are in the Vatican. I really do. I do believe that the Vatican have all the answers underneath. I couldn't handle David Icke. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. That's a good point, Admiral. Maybe the planet is to contain us, to protect the galaxy from humans. Yeah. I'm from the Falls. It was told. Eamon McCann. I'm from the Falls Road. It was told the EFF built the pyramids. Good one, mate. Yes, Foxy lad. They said global warming, then changed it to climate change. The Earth has four corners, says Darren Williams. And why is the sea flat if the Earth wasn't flat, guys? Yeah, that is one of the arguments, guys. You know, I have heard that argument. I've heard basically with the curve of the with the curve of the Earth, if you're looking through a really powerful telescope, you can basically work out how many miles away you can see to. So with the curve, there's certain high-rise buildings you shouldn't be able to see in the foot and way in the distance, miles and miles and miles away. I'm talking about high-tech scopes. So a lot of people are saying, well, this is this far away from where I am, so I shouldn't be able to see that. That should be, if the Earth is round, that should be round a wee bit. But that's what they say. You know what I mean? I've heard that argument. Copper tools. You know what I mean? Aye. Yeah, I'm having a wee chill out now. SRS, a wee break from all the madness I've been dealing with right now. Stressed out today about editing, and yeah, I don't want to go back into another editing studio for at least 24 hours. It breaks my heart. But I'll tell you something, guys. We'll just get back on the mental health. Difficult, very difficult. You know what I mean? Um, maybe 2, 3 years ago, I would have fucking lost it. You know what I mean? And that's the difference between, obviously I was going through a lot, 2, 3 years ago, lost my wife and all that, dealing with all that. Um, I had got back to normality and normal life and like working hard and doing really well, 2 vans on the road and like working 6, 7 days a week. You know what I mean? Didn't drink, didn't go out. Just I loved working. I enjoyed working. I loved like dealing with antiques and buying and selling and learning about different things. Stamps on jewelry and stamps on the back of plates and learning dates and what all these symbols make. I had all the books and obviously my wife was into it as well. And we done really well at it. Like you know what I mean. It was pretty easy for me. It was really easy. It was just fucking money was just coming in all the time. I mean, I buy something for a fiver and sell it for 40 quid, and that was regular. You know what I mean? Um, and then obviously losing my wife, it's everything. I lost everything after that, obviously. But with the mental health, the complex PTSD, and the trauma that I already suffered through life, it all came back. And like I say, the head wasn't in the right place. Every time I walked out the door, I was fighting and getting into trouble. Um, and it was something as simple as trying to edit and something going wrong, and then something else going wrong, and then you know what I mean. But like I say, I'm coping. I'm coping with it now. And it is doing to my channel because I am Freedom Dad. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, I would have just cracked him," whatever on one of my videos or something. Man, I don't know how you can do that and how you can keep so calm. And it is simply because I'm Freedom Dad. It's because of you guys, because of my channel, and it does help. It does help. There's just that wee thing there that's always there, and yeah. So that's just a wee bit of information that you've never got from any other YouTuber. Yeah. I was steam coming in my ears this afternoon, you know what I mean? But like, it was okay because I'm with good people. I'm able to talk about it. I'm able to say fucking so angry right now, you know what I mean? And it is what it is. But where before I would have lost it. I wouldn't have coped with that. You know what I mean? It would have caused me it would have caused me problems. It would have went downhill. I would have fucking down a hole. I wouldn't have been able to get out. You know what I mean? So yeah, lots have changed. Lots have changed with the channel we use, guys. No, it wouldn't because they're not saying it goes round. It's sort of like if it's just going, I can't explain. I'm not getting. Let's not get into it. I'm not an expert on it. I don't. I just like catching it every now and again on YouTube where people are debating it and talking about it. I love the arguments. I love hearing a round earther and a flat earther getting into it. It is amazing. It is. It's one of them things that you know both of them are just throwing each other. They're like they're holding their own, and you just don't know. You're like, yeah, yeah, of course it's a round. Of course, fucking the Earth is round. And then this guy goes says that, and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? And he's agreeing, and it's fact what he's saying. You're like, hmm. So yeah, it's interesting if you want to have a bit of a laugh and just enjoy and not get too serious because who cares? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, who really cares? What difference does it make to our lives? What shape the Earth is? But it is interesting. I think it's just interesting because the arguments are. You've got to understand that the arguments are for so long. There was a bit in Scotland along the M8 on the back of a sign facing the other way. On the back of that sign, the Earth is flat, and it was there for fucking 20 odd years. You know what I mean? Every time I used to drive by it, never ever just thinking somebody not, and you would see it. These guys would run about spraying it all over the place. You know what I mean? And that sort of intrigued me, seeing that sprayed about the place growing up. You know what I mean? Fucking flat Earth. You know what I mean? Flat Earth. So but then when you come across it on YouTube and you've got a flat earther and it's somebody that that can hold their own and they're they talk about all sorts of topics, but and they're really convincing. You know what I mean? I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that in 2025 we're having debates about whether the Earth is flat or round. That's all it is. I'm just intrigued with it all. I don't care about it. Doesn't make any difference to my life. You know what I mean? Um, so let's get your comments. So people can help. Google Earth is a round globe, or it has the last time I was on it. Google Earth is a round globe. Yeah, mate, you're right. We'll leave it at that then. Google says it's round. Okay, mate, I'm happy with that. Like, Super Patches in donut shape. Feed him that, and possibly hollow too. That's the Simpsons. That's the Simpsons world. The world is going round and round, and like Mickey Marley's roundabout. You going to boycott alien hotels next year, Heather? This is Super Patzer. For anybody who doesn't know, Super Patzer is our resident troll. You going to boycott alien hotels next year, Heather? People have been to space, and when they look at the Earth, it's a ball. People have been to space. There you go. There you go from Super Patcher. People have been to space, you know. So just out there holidaying out in the space, for 2 weeks. 2 weeks to Jupiter, eh, Super Patcher? Oh boy, boy, boy. Where do you think the International Space Station is? It's not out past the where you think it is. Please believe me on that, mate. Yeah, it is out there. It's just above us, you know me, but it isn't in space, mate. You can see it. You can see it at night time. It's completely different. This star, there's a wee blue tint comes from it, and there's also an app where you can tell exactly when it's going over your sky at night time. So you can look up and see it. Don't want my kids being called Hamad McCann. Doesn't work. Yeah, Mohammed McCann. Mohammed McCann. How about Eamon Mohammed? That works. Thank you, wee bit. There's a link for my buy me a coffees, guys. If you don't have already bought me one, you buy one, and you will get a link. You just need to buy one, guys. Is that not moving? There's plenty of space in Super Patcher's head. Brilliant, mate. John Rogan. Down at the bottom, guys. My daughter's done that since she was wee, Sophie. 23 now. She and still does it. What's that, guys? Maybe smoke. Oh, fact, online. Sorry for smoking online, guys, but you know, I've been on for looking over an hour. Over an hour, guys. Dancing in the rain, freedom, Dad. I've danced in the rain. Rave station, good one, eight mags. I haven't stopped, Jennifer. I know, I know, I know. Oh, it's difficult. It's difficult. I stopped to have a baby. Can you believe that? I stopped for 3 months to have a baby. You know, fucking did like stopped everything. didn't drink, didn't smoke, yet ate healthy, you know, and boom, first time pregnant, first try, 55 years old. You know, you can't make it up. Like, to be honest, who cares if the Earth is flat or round? All I know is we walk on it. You're right there, buddy, Admiral. Buy me a coffee for Freedom Dad, done courtesy of Super Patcher, our resident buy me a coffee coordinator. Super Patcher, I'm going to have to throw you a backhander. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to meet you. Okay, got a bit of money for you, and we'll meet up in a car park somewhere. How do you fancy that? You know, got something for you. got something for you, mate. Well, I'm not going to say that online, Foxy lad. I can't say what pub I'll be going into. No, I mean that would be silly for me. Yeah, Richard Hamilton. It's just yeah, it's not. There's I fucking don't know what it's called. There's a layer that goes around the Earth, and it is what would you call it? Um, oh, fucking radioactive, like nuclear, something like that, right? So the body or any remember we used to try. Remember you used to put monkeys and all that up. They put monkeys up. They put dogs up. A lot. None of them survived. You know, they've probably put humans up there as well that we don't know about that haven't survived. And it's a layer that goes around, and it is like radioactive, and it goes. It's particles that go through the body, and that's why we can't get it in space. Basically, the government are saying that whenever the government's argument that the mainstream argument is the reason why we can't go out there now and we did when we went to the moon was because we had the technology to do it then and we've lost it. That's what they're saying. That's their excuse. Whenever we're saying you bullshitted about the moon, we know we can't get out into space. What's going on? You know? And they're like, oh yeah, but we had the technology to do it then, but we've just lost it. Okay, no bother. Where'd you lose it? You know what I mean? But we'll go and look for it. Everybody out looking for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, full of fucking shit. You know, there's no two ways about it, guys. They are talking bull. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, everything about the moon landing, all the pictures have all been shown to be false, and the way the sand was lifting or whatever it was they used, the fact that whenever they showed the clip of Neil Armstrong and Buzz and all that, or if it was Buzz, don't know their names, but it was they recorded the screen. So the media back then were it was put up on a screen like a cinema screen, and the footage that we've got is what the media filmed from the screen. You understand? We didn't get the original version of that film that was apparently filmed on the moon. You know, Neil Armstrong's first steps for mankind and all that. We only got that through a secondary. It's like screen recording, you know. And you know when you screen record, lip sync goes off and all that, you know. So that was done for a reason, you know. One of the biggest feats for mankind. That's what they said. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And they didn't even give us the original footage of it. You know, that tells you everything you need to know, guys. And if you don't believe me, Google it, research it, look into it. You know what I mean? Look into just Google, YouTube. Did we go to the moon? You know, was the moon faked? There's loads of videos out there that analyze the videos very carefully. The shadows. You got a shadow of one thing going that way, and then the shadow of the astronaut going that way. Like there's two suns. You know what I mean? But yeah, most people nowadays do believe it was done in a studio. It was done like MGM Studios. It was all set up, and it was just one big, massive, big warehouse, and they brought in everything they needed, and they done it like that. And I'm not here to say 100%. I'm just telling you what the arguments are, what's out there. And I just think it's nuts that we're even talking about it. That's even debating it. You know what I mean? And I've seen the videos of the astronauts being asked, "Were you in the moon?" And I've seen some of the reactions from them. Super Patcher, just when I thought couldn't get any stupider, you're a flat earther. You just don't pay attention, do you, mate? You really do not pay attention. But you can call me a flat earther. If that makes you feel good, if that gets you your sleep tonight, that's your wee dig. we dig at Freedom Dad. That's could be a lot worse, you know. I've been called a lot worse than the flat earther, so I'll take that, mate. You know, what I mean? And it's the first I've ever been called a flat earther. So there you go, mate. So I'll have that. Get a good sleep tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow, right, son? I went 3 times in the '60s with tinfoil spacecraft. I know you can't make it up. Like, you know, they went to the moon then, but I can't do it now. You know what I mean? Aye, okay. Yeah, the American flag was flapping, but there's no wind on it. There's loads and loads of stuff people have picked out about this food. It's intelligent people. You know, I don't like. We don't. We're just having a laugh and we're just having a wee chill. I don't. I can't be asked talking about anything too serious. And you know, we need to have these wee nights. And I have missed days. You know what I mean? Because I have been rolling my lives and not really reading comments out and stuff like that. What do you think of Stevie Baker leading the Jesus Walk? I don't know. I don't think he did lead the Jesus Walk. He was just captured filming it, like me. I was at the front of the Jesus Walk, but that was just because I was a citizen journalist at the front. You know what I mean? Filming it. Yeah. That can noise you out there in the night, don't they? Even from then, they were crying about the flags. Good one, mate. Aye, Belfast. I imagine we had someone like Trump and Ogwen, and the president rang them on the moon. That's right. That's right. The president rang them on the moon. Okay, now, man. Some very knowledgeable people on here. I'm out of my depth. Awkward, you're not. Honestly, I'm not knowledgeable. This is just YouTube stuff. You know what I mean? You can fucking get a crack at that. All you got to do is look at it. Look at the videos. They are quite interesting. Yes, Bates Cadet. I fucking tend to agree with you with that one, mate. But we'll not give the far left too much ammunition tonight, eh? What do you think of Stevie Baker leading the Jesus Walk? Cover that. Hi everyone. Hi Freedom Dad. Hello Toby. Super Potter, I didn't even know stupid was a word. No, well, this is how we can tell how old he is. You know what I mean? He's loving it. He's with the adults. You know what I mean? There's no an adult in his life in his world would give him 2 seconds of the day. You know what I mean? And here we are, bigging him up. You know what I mean? He'll end up being a YouTuber himself. He'll end up on our side. You know what I mean? Richard Hamilton, the Earth is round. Let's invade Area 51, says Farty Pants. Right, you go first. Give us a shout when you're in. It is said that it is a refueling issue. A refueling issue. RUM and G. Is that tulip one? A wrongin knows a wrongin. We Joe, don't call my Joe a wrongin. That's not tulip. Tulip's upstairs. She's a princess. It's my boy out there. My boy in the big. Well said, Eamon McCann. Say your prayers tonight. Jesus is King of Kings. Hello. Yeah. All right, mate. What's happening? Where do you want me? Oh yeah. Got you. I know where you are. Yeah, definitely, mate. What time at? 7:30, and it's just at the junction. Right. Brilliant, mate. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cover that. Right. Has it all been thingy with the Parades Commission? Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. All right. Happy days. Okay. Of course, mate. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm just on a live right now, so I'll call you as soon as my live's up. Okay, mate. All right. All right. Speak soon, mate. Bye bye. Bye, mate. Bye. So yeah, that's a visual. We've had a young girl unalived at that junction quite close to me, quite a bad one. Um, yeah, there's I will be going live. There's a visual and I'll cover it. I'm going to cover it for them. The family have asked me to go, so that will be tomorrow night. It's going to be pretty sad, and yeah, it's just to bring awareness, you know, of people that aren't, can't say too much. It's an ongoing case, but yeah, it's very sad, guys. Very sad. Um, Good to hear from you. I'll take it easy as you're having a chill night. Okay, it's a Saturday night or something. Just listening, just in case there's anybody in trouble. Good man, CJ audits. And CJ, the family are asking for any YouTubers and TikTok. It's not just me. They want as many people that can document this tomorrow. So I'll give you a wee call after this and see if you're available to come and document what's going on, mate. No, no, I don't need the mood. There's nothing. I don't. This is the thing. I can answer that phone to anybody. We've got nothing to hide. Genuine guys. It's the most relaxed movement, for want of a better word. You know what I mean? Obviously back in the day when the troubles were going, it was a lot more dodgy and iffy, and we weren't such good behaved people, you know what I mean? And that just goes with the territory. Today, we are peaceful, we are law abiding, and we are political. We don't want any violence. We don't want any aggro. We want to go forward peacefully and politically until we can't, But we're going to exhaust all resources to gain what we need to gain, peaceful and politically. So I don't have anybody around me or anybody that would have my number that would want to cause me any problems or say anything that would be worrying. And that's the way I like it. You know what I mean? I'm not far right. I don't have far right around me. We aren't racist. Don't have racists around me. And I'm totally relaxed about that. I've got no problems. Anybody, if the police want to put somebody close to me, they're in. You know, I'm online talking about my life. You don't need to put anybody close to me. Nothing to hide. We aren't doing nothing wrong. Yeah, I know. CJ will be doing me. Phone me, freedom data about it, please. I will, mate. I'll phone you as soon as I come off. You phoned me earlier. I was getting a wee R. I was getting a wee R sleeps. I did leave my phone for it to be answered, so I know you were spoke to. So, yeah, just stressed out with editing, mate. Just editing, everything going wrong. You know what I mean? Super Patzer, you've already met me. That shows you how big your swingers are then. If I've already met you and you haven't said I'm Super Patzer. All that shows is you being a wee bit of a coward. You shouldn't have said that, Super Patzer. Oh, John, why? Why did you? What has he said? Message deleted by John Rankin. What did he say to be deleted? Come on, Super Patzer. Super patches on the glue. Yeah, she just lives off the grid, has no money. No, you're talking to each other. Thank you, Lady J. My point exactly. I see, I'm glad we're on the same page. It's been a long weekend, mate. It has, hasn't it? It's been a long weekend. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Like, I mean, that big demo we done where all the we were getting all the abuse and all that. That was last Saturday. You know what I mean? We haven't stopped. Yeah, you won't be going on holiday anytime soon, mate. I don't have any money to go on holiday, and I certainly wouldn't use my buy me a coffees to go on holiday. I need to get myself some um, body worn camera. Everybody's CJ, particularly, is telling me you got to get a camera. You got to get a body worn camera. Like a lot of people are worried about me because I don't have a body worn camera. So I've got to get that. I've got the drone. I've got the stabilizer. I need more mics. I need to get another mic set up because Bobby kitted on the thumb of mic, holding onto the fluffy bit, and it went down the crack of um, attacking. And I wasn't ripping their dad's decking up to get my mic, you know what I mean? So and then it rained the next day because he was gonna do it, he was gonna get me it, then it pissed down all that night and I was like, ah, it would have been beat. So yeah, and I wouldn't I just wouldn't. The buy me a coffees is to help me get from A to B and just survive. Just keeps me above the water. I'm able to throw some money here. The people who are looking after me and feeding me and keeping me. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just so I can get a wee bit back. And it is just a wee bit, guys. You know, I don't make much money from it. And like I say, I don't have any other income at all. Pineapple balls. Give them space to get that. Oh, good on you, mate. Good on you. I was going to have a wee drink tonight, but just wasn't in the mood. Davy has been on holiday since you were 25, now 42. Yeah, to be honest with you guys, I've done it all. I've been everywhere like I want to be, you know. No, I'm good, Debs. If I need anything, I know you're there. Um, I think like when you've been where you've been, you've done your holidays and you've been to Thailand, been to America, Canada, all over Europe many times. Where else? Obviously, the usual when I was really young, Benidorm and all that carry on. So you know, it's just a lot of money for 2 weeks. It goes really quick, and then you come back skint. you know, and then you're like, "Fuck, that wasn't fucking worth it." You know what I mean? That's fucking gone in seconds. You know what I mean? Especially when you're younger and you're drinking and having a party and you're partying, it does fly in. So yeah, I'd rather spend my money on something more important that something's going to last a bit longer as well. I take it back. I heard you say you didn't really know but enjoy the argument. Now I get you. I take it back. I heard you say don't really know but enjoy the argument. Now I get you. Let's take me a wee while, mate. Hello from Maryland. Love the channel. Thank you, Angel. Oh, cheers, Davy Davy. What, if any, animosity have you had so far while recording? Um, I don't get animosity because I use my nut, you know. Um, I'm very careful who I film in my own areas because I don't want to upset anybody. I want to be able to keep on doing what I'm doing, and I just want to keep the peace. And I understand that everybody wants to be filmed. Get it? You know that's changing. People are changing. People are starting to not care anymore. I've noticed that. But the other animosity is just from Palestinians, you know what I mean, Republicans, you know what I mean. You hear them shouting at me. They even accuse me of murdering a Catholic. Look, see, I haven't even been arrested for anything like that. Never mind, never mind convicted. So yeah, that's right out there. You know what I mean. But the same person that said I was in Belfast at time when I was recording everybody and they were all screaming and shouting at me. He said to the police, as you seen in CJs, that I was standing there going, "Ooh, up the EDF." You know what I mean? That's mental. I never said that. That's false information. You know what I mean? To try and get me, I don't know, arrested, moved. You know what I mean? But yeah, very strange behaviour. But you've had that on two occasions now. I've had that at Belfast at the big demo, and I had it on Saturday there from another Republican, you know, masked up, didn't want to show his face, but wanted to shout about me being this and that and saying, you know, I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to keep fucking giving them any credit and repeating what he said, you know what I mean? But that's all nonsense. That's what he reads what they're reading in the paper, they're throwing at me. That's what they're throwing at me. They're throwing what they read at the paper at me. Um, there's nothing good to say. That's why I know. How do you detox from it all? It's because I don't get, I don't take it personal or anything like that. I'm not there to, I'm there to genuinely talk. You know what I mean? And then whenever they behave like that, it just shows the world who they are. You know what I mean? It shows the two different sides. It shows the right and the left to the world. The world have been told that the right are violent, racist thugs. There hasn't been any violence that any right wing demos for a long time. Yeah, outside the hotels, there's a bit of argy bargy and stuff like that. Yeah, and the left trying to infiltrate and trying to, and the Antifa always come and try and start trouble. But like you seen in Liverpool, the Patriots held their own and they didn't bite. And as you see in Northern Ireland, our Patriots don't bite. We don't have any violence. We don't have any masks. So it's not. I feel like I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job right by showing you them, you know. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting dialogue. I'm expecting an argument, a debate. You know, I'm not sure will I be able to hold me on when I'm going in there. I don't know who I'm going up against, and you know, but I've got to do it. I've got to put myself out there and say, right, here I am. You know, let's talk. You know what I mean? But they come across aggressive. They come across violent. They come across shouting abuse, screaming, spitting, and you know that's what the world see. So when the government are saying that these men over here are fascists and the world see these people over here behaving like fascists, then that helps us. It helps us in our argument in the long term to prove that we're not racist, we're not far right, and we're here for a sensible conversation about what's going on in our country. And we want to understand the people who are counter demoing us, and we want to talk to the people who are calling us far right racist thugs and Nazis. And you know, has a person who isn't a far right racist thug and Nazi getting that screamed at me every time I go there, I've got every right to go up and ask them why they think like that, why that's their opinion of me. I say to them, "Do you not watch my videos?" That's my argument. You know what I mean? And then I'll take it from there and speak from my heart and who I am, and that's all it is. I go with the confidence of who I am and the confidence that I'm a true loyal person to myself and to you, and I'll have that open debate about anything with anybody. You know, and I'm prepared to learn. Like to say, educate yourself, educate yourself. You know what I mean? I'm telling them about the horrific crimes that's happening by Boko Haram in Africa, and they're laughing and saying that I'm wrong. And educate yourself, and I'm saying, well, educate me. Okay, don't just shout and tell me what is it I need to educate myself with. But they won't. They just shout abuse and say I'm stupid and I'm racist and I'm far right and I'm a Zionist. You know, I've never once used all my videos. I've never once ever backed Israel up. Not once. 700 odd videos, and I've never stood here and spoke on behalf of Israel. But at the demos, when they're saying things like that at me, then I have to react accordingly. You know, and it's not about supporting Israel. It's about supporting myself. It's about supporting my country. It's about supporting my child going forward. That's all it is. And they happen to be the opposition, you know. So yeah, there's like to your answer to your question, it isn't like that. It doesn't, as far as I'm concerned, I'm walking away there going to myself, job done, freedom dad, you know. So yeah, um, I'm not scared. Um, I don't have any fear. I've got security around me. My guys will look after me. You know, what's the worst that can happen? A dig in the jaw, you know what I mean? The police are always there and they're doing a really good job. They've done a great job protecting me. And they give me the right to be there and have my opinion and allow me to question them. And, that's the optics of it. That's the police officer saying, no, he's allowed to be here, just like you are. He's allowed to ask you questions, you know. And he isn't saying anything bad, because they're saying he's saying this, he's saying and they're like, we're listening to him. He's not. You know what I mean? He's got the freedom to do exactly what he's doing. You can't stop him. And that shows that concretes what I'm saying, like, that I'm allowed to do this. This is normal. The way you are behaving is abnormal. You know, and I think it's important that we get that across. And obviously, they will learn to behave as we go forward. They will see themselves behaving in a mental way and think, oh, you know, we don't want to give that impression out. You know what I mean? It's too late, mate. It's too late. You know what I mean? That video's going to be around for a long time. That's on a hard drive now, and it will be getting shorted and clipped and brought out for a long time. Yeah, don't worry about that, Usher check. We're always going to get it's the title of the whenever I put a title up, Patriots chat, we're going to get the far left in. If they see this as they're flicking through YouTube, oh, let's have a look. What's this about? You know what I mean? So yeah, we're going to get the headers coming in from the left, the far left, our Palestinian supporters and whatnot. Okay, Siobhan, I think you do a fantastic job actively out there looking answers. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, sir. Pavy, Pavy. Sorry, Jim, you don't need to love Israel to understand they have the right to defend themselves. Correct. Keep the algorithms up, Muppet. It helps. Thank you, Ursula Check. Yep. Keep every comment is an algorithm, guys, whether they're positive or negative. But I can deal with them. I can deal with some of them. But if they're just being silly, then and you don't want me dealing with them, you think no, Freedom Dad's not wasting his time in this nonsense. Do what you need to do. Siobhan, Nor now, rule yourself and make no apology for being you. Tulip is great. She's a princess. She's living the life of luxury right now. Honestly, she's even getting her teeth brushed. It's a bit of a shock for her, like you know what I mean. But yeah, she's being spoiled. Yeah, nosy buggers. Yeah, you're right, Debs. So what are we on? 127 minutes, which is 2 hours and 7 minutes. So I'm going to start to wrap it up shortly, guys. New week tomorrow. The king is the head Freemason. The one skills full of the eyes. Gotta love the pups, yeah. Gary Belfast, thank you, Freedom Dad. Sorry, guys, just checking this. Okay, all good. Yeah, so we are just going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for all the love tonight as well. The 177 thumbs up. Really appreciate that. Great work. Thank you, Sequel Jeff. And to be honest with you guys, a lot of the work done in the city centre, I couldn't have done it without CJ. Just to have him or the experience and, big guy, you know what I mean? And it does give you a wee bit more security and a wee bit more confidence, along with my guys that are with me. Like I said, we don't run about together. He does his thing, I do. We try to have two different angles and two different styles. Obviously, I don't want to copy him. He wouldn't copy me. It's just sometimes we will do the same sort of stuff just because we will, But it's I'm not like that, and he isn't like that. We are our own content creators. But when we're in the city centre, because he's getting the death threats, some of the threats I'm getting, it is good to stick together. It is, and it does make you feel a wee bit more confident. And when you've got confidence, things work a wee bit better. You know what I mean? So yeah, I have to give a lot of love to Freddie, Stevie, Eddie, and TJ. You know, good night, Davy, Davy. A Sandy Row egg team. I know. We were all born 50 years ago. Yes, Enoch Powell was right. And Caitlin's raving tonight. She's at a rave somewhere, you know what I mean? Don't forget Caitlin, yeah. Yeah, of course. Well, I wouldn't take Caitlin. I wouldn't take Caitlin to these events, not them ones. I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't put her in danger. See you later, John Rankin. Thank you, Kendo. Keep up the great work. Bernie, keep good night, freedom dad, and everyone. Angela, I'll be safe, always safe. First person that's not flat. Paul's probably spinning in his grave. Oh, he will be. Have a good one, everyone, except Super Patcher. I hope your next shade is a hedgehog. Kendo Nadal, Ursher Check Nadal, Space Cadet. It was lovely to meet you. Lovely people. Take care. Stay safe. Thank you, mate. Lady J, love everybody in the chat room. You're all sound proudly from district number 5. I think CJ's put a video up. If you want to jump on the CJ's channel, catch what he's put up. No doubt it'll be interesting. Good night, Seagull. 40 pants. Good night. Good night, wee bit. Eamon, good night, mate. Ali Bo. Commuter Brand Slane. You're Enigma. Freedom Dad. Keep them guessing, mate. Keep her lit. Cheers, mate. Links. Cheers. Good night, Freedom Dad. Bernie. See you just back in the chat. Please stay safe, everyone. Yeah, I'm just telling everybody. I think you've just put a video up. I think it's come up on my thing. So if they want to jump on and catch your video, that's what I'll be doing. That is what I'll be. I'll make a couple of phone calls and then I'll be jumping on the chat. John Rankin, Ursa Chick, Space Cadet. So Jerry Quinn, Big Base Boom, Minecraft Bills, all the regulars. Debs, thank you so much for coming in first person. And yeah, it's in a post I put up. Okay, brilliant, mate. There's a wee post. We'll get a wee clip it. He's murder, isn't he? Isn't he murder? Just get it up. Come on. We can't wait till next week. Night Freedom Dad, Night Alan. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Just want to miss anybody. But yeah, thank you so much for all coming in the chat. As always, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for the love. Thank you for all the really nice stuff that you write. And it is my not kryptonite, but it's my fuel. It's what drives me. Only a post, not a video yet. Yeah, I know. But yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Couldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without CJ. Couldn't do it without a team around me, and the extended team that don't like their names being mentioned, and Sarah, Bobby, and all the rest. Even Freddie's doing a lot of stuff online as well now, and yeah. There's other people in the background doing stuff, working on my social medias and that, and helping me out, and taking a wee bit of workload off me, and without a penny, not I don't pay nobody. If I get a bit of money when we're out, then if whoever's with me, I'll give them a cut. Which is fair enough. You know what I mean? But yeah, um, it's good. Life is good. Everything is good. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to all the other YouTubers and TikTokers. Thanks to all the boys in East Belfast, all the girls in East Belfast, South Belfast, Woodville, Shankill, Rathcoole, and surrounding areas, Ballymena as well, and of course Bangor. So much love from so many different people, and I'm so proud to be me. I'm so proud to be me. I'm so proud to be where I'm from. I'm so proud to be an Ulster man, a Northern Ireland man, and there's no two ways about it. Yeah, I'm the proudest man in the world right now. Not just because I'm a dad, but because I'm an Ulster man. I'm going to leave you with that. all my love, and as always, God bless.